not too bad where I'm at, but it is
No.
definitely it's a shit show going on down there. So
Yeah, it's a shame.
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And then
Horrible.
I'm going out to LA in a couple of
All
weeks.
right, we're live. Woo,
Yay!
we're
Oh, we're
live.
live. All
We're
right,
live.
and
We're
mobile.
live. Welcome everybody to the Fat Thor Lockdown Challenge. My name's Andy Gunnin. I'm the host with Rick Wayne. As
How's it
my other
going?
host, we have a special guest, Ernie O'Donnell. You've seen him in Clerks, our Jane Silent Bob reboot, Clerks, numerous other things. I'm driving around in a car chasing a tornado for a Wi-Fi signal, like the movie Twister.
That Ernie was not in. So
That
No,
Ernie
I wish I was. I love me some Bill Paxton.
Oh, who
yeah,
doesn't love Bill Paxton? May he rest in peace.
I was
Yes,
gonna say R.I.P.
that's
May he
right.
rest in peace. Thank you for being here and taking time, Ernie, to be in here and dealing
Yeah,
with
thanks a
the
lot, man.
Yeah,
yeah
man.
Ernie
yeah.
has the patience of a saint.
I try.
You
Yeah.
do. We have a major Wi-Fi outage in our area, 2 to 3 miles square long, and we had to drive all the way up here. Anyways, enough of me. Let's get into the show.
Yes,
Rick is the
sir.
whole reason Ernie is here. He got and again last minute. Thank you for jumping in here.
Absolutely.
Huge fan, myself as well as Rick.
Big fan.
I hear you're doing a lot
Nice.
of things. Just tell everybody a little bit about your background and what you're doing, what's going on. The floor is yours, Ernie.
Well, most people know me as from that silly little movie Clerks from 1994. The weight trainer, Mr. Rick Derris himself.
Yeah, Rick Darris.
You know, the man whore, whatever you want to call him, the pimp daddy. Tie up your women, put them in cages. Here I come, bitches.
Right.
Driving in his Trans Am, picking up the Jersey honeys, man.
That's right.
Everybody slept with Rick Darris.
Oh shit, and my shit hasn't fallen off yet, so that's a good thing.
Well, because you work out, that's why.
Yeah, I work out. I protect that muscle.
That's right. Lifting milk, man.
Yeah, I lift more than milk. Gotta grab by the waist, right by the hips.
Right there, slipped him on the counter right there in front of Dante.
Yeah.
You was also the cop in Jay and Silent Bob. You arrested Jay and Silent Bob in Strikes Back.
Yeah, I did the small piece of the Leonardo cop and Jay and Silent Bob. I did a bit in Jason Abbey with Big Ben Affleck himself.
And Joey Lauren Adams.
And Joey, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when Kevin and Joey were dating.
Right.
And I did a little bit in Dogma. I had a great scene in Dogma with George Carlin, but I got notified. Well, didn't get notified until the premiere that my scene got cut out. So I was like, Kev, what's up, man? You know?
You were a reporter, wasn't you?
Yeah. I play a reporter, but in the actual when I went down there, I actually had lines and dialogue with George. That eventually got cut out. That
No,
was like,
at least you got to work with him and meet him.
oh my God, it was it's unbelievable. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever worked with. So down to earth. I mean, made you feel really special, and you can't say anything bad about the guy. He was just amazing. And surprisingly, he is related to my brother's wife's family, which I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, we kind of discovered that. And then it was kind of cool after we did the shoot. He invited me to one of his shows down at the old Club Benet in Sayreville, New Jersey, which I thought I'd never hear from him when I left Pittsburgh after we shot Dogma. But about 2 months later, his assistant called me and said, George told me to give you tickets or put you on the list to be at the show at the Club Benet. And I was amazed. I mean, months later, I still got the call. He was that kind of guy.
Wow.
Yeah, gave me the shout out. It's on the stage and everything. Recognized me and my wife in the audience.
Wow.
Yeah, man, great dude. I have nothing bad to say. I love George Carlin. First time I ever saw him at stand up was Fairleigh Dickinson University, front row, my brother's college. And
what year was that?
Oh wow, man, that had to be like Probably around 92, 93 maybe,
Okay.
somewhere around there.
Wow.
And that's when he did that routine about his stuff,
Yeah.
about that was his classic routine about all the stuff
Right.
people collect. I mean, it was one of the greats, one of the greats. But then again, Kev has a lot of the greats in a lot of his movies, which are pretty cool, that make cameos, do little special appearances.
He really does. I mean, if you look at just the litany of people that he's worked with, uh, Chris Rock and
Oh yeah,
George Carlin, Stephen Root, Ben Affleck. I mean, Damon. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Linda Florentino. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And it's so impressive for a guy who started out as an independent filmmaker. In his second movie, he scored Stan Lee. So.
oh yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah. No, I mean you can't. I mean even A-listers. I mean Will Smith. I mean he worked with Will Smith, right? I mean Bruce Willis, his nemesis for a while. They're back to kind of on talking terms now, so that's pretty cool. And Chris Hemsworth. I mean
Hemsworth, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's
Chris Jericho,
Jericho, Val Kilmer,
Kilmer,
Mark
right.
Hamill. Come on, Mark Hamill, the man himself.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
it's kind of like the Ernie O'Donnell / Kevin Bacon and Kevin Smith, who you could be connected to through your roles in Kevin movies, through big name A-listers as well.
Oh yeah, I mean I do. In my degrees for Kevin Bacon, I'm usually about one.
One. Hey, but a degree no less. So
yes, usually 1 degree, and that's about it. Because even all the background work and all the other work I've done myself without Kevin, it's I've worked with people from Tom Cruise to Harrison Ford, Scorsese, Spielberg. I mean all those kind of people. So it's kind of interesting how you're connected to each. And I'll tell you what, it all circles back. I've met a lot of people on other sets and were able to start conversations just because of being working with Kevin and being in Kevin's films, things like that. I mean,
they say he's one of the nicest guys in the business.
Kev? Oh yeah.
I've met him several times. He's just a sweetheart. He seems to be the same guy when you're watching him just talking on a podcast or on stage, or when you're talking to him in real life. He doesn't seem like to be a kind of an ebb and flow of camera Kev and offstage Kev. He seems to be the same guy all the time.
Yeah, and he runs one of the greatest sets you could ever want to have. I mean, whenever you're on a Kevin Smith set, it's hands down one of the best. He takes care of his cast and crew so good. I mean, it's unbelievable. They all love him.
It seems like the communication with everybody is really good. I was watching the making of Tusk.
Yeah.
And how he would do the, when he would talk to everybody going into scenes, and just really hands-on towards grips and electricians, anybody on the set. He was just as involved with them and their presence being there as he was the people that were acting on the other side of the camera.
But what it really comes down to is Kev knows his role and he respects the talent of the crew. The gaffers, the electricians, the set designers, the lighting guys, anybody. I mean, listen, Kevin's not handy. We all know that. I know that from growing up with him. He's not a handy guy. I don't think he can swing a hammer that well. But he appreciates and respects all the talents of everybody on the crew, and he lets them do their work. And that means a lot. That goes a long way. And he acknowledges them when most people don't.
How long have you and Kevin known each other prior to Clerks?
Oh, well, our friendship is about 42, 43 years now.
Okay.
Wow.
So, yeah, we've met in the 5th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that's cool that, you still get to work with Kevin in that capacity. And, to the point where Carlin is calling you up going, hey, I haven't forgot you. That's got to be really an amazing feeling to be working as an actor and then get to work with that, kind of people and get to work with somebody that you've known since elementary school.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and listen, I'll give you a quick example. So I knew Kev was doing this movie called A Couple of Dicks, which they changed.
Cop Out.
changed the cop out. Correct. He didn't write it, but he was brought on to direct it. So I knew we were playing cards before the deal broke, and he knew about it, and he told me about it. And he's like, "Listen," he's like, "I'm doing this movie, and it's with a pretty big name." And I was like, "Well, who's it with?" And he goes, "Oh, it's with Bruce Willis." And I was like, "All right," because me and him, as a lot of people know, and I've told the story before, that me and Kev are huge Bruce Willis fans growing up. I mean, massive. Kev, what was that?
Said who couldn't be?
Yeah. I mean, Kev got me into him on the show Moonlighting. I mean, that's kind of how I started with Bruce.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then once I realized I'm a blues guy too, as you can see, repping the Blues Brothers.
Yes.
And I even like Bruce's music. I mean, I'm probably one of the very few, but I enjoyed it.
Bruno,
the return of Bruno. Yes, I mean,
right.
me and Kev probably wore that tape out in my '78 International Scout back in high school. Yeah, but he didn't promise, but he said, "Listen, I'm doing this movie. I'm not. It's not my movie, but I'm directing it." He's like, "I'm going to try to get you on there to work with Bruce Willis." And to me, that was like, and we didn't know what kind of guy he was at that point. He's told the stories about how things kind of fell apart with those guys on that movie, and everybody knows it. But at that point, I was ecstatic, and I was like, "Oh, am I just going to get to at least be in the scene with him, walk by him, do something? I don't give a shit.
Sure.
Whatever I can do with John McClane, I'm good to go."
Right on.
And then he called me like a month later, and he's like, "Listen, you're coming to Brooklyn. You're doing a scene with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan and Sean William Scott. You got lines with them." And I was like, "I don't care what it is, dude. I'm in." And it's just, those are the kind of things where it all circles back, where your childhood kind of, he makes those things happen. He makes them happen. Who
would have thought as a kid that you would be working with John McClane?
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah. When he works with, when he works with certain people, I always say to him, I say, "Listen, dude, I'm always here. Whenever you're ready, just let me know." Even on Comic Book Men, when they had DMC on Comic Book Men from Run DMC, and me and Kev are huge old school rap fans. I still am to this day.
Me too.
And he called me up. He said, "Listen, you got to get down the set." He goes, "DMC's going to be here." And, I was banging nails that day, and I was like, that's it. Took the tool pouch off, headed home, ran down the set, and, you get to hang out with DMC. I mean, it's just it's like I said, man, he's got a lot going on, and but he remembers things like that,
That's very cool. That's very, very cool that he does, because he's done that with, it seems like he has it reminds me kind of like in the Burt Reynolds movies, where Burt would work with, how he would work with like a certain group of people that would always come back. Jerry Reed would show back up, not just as the Snowman, and Sally Field, obviously Dom DeLuise.
Oh, Dom, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So, I think if you're a fan of Kevin Smith and watched any of the movies, you clearly see that. If you really pay attention, like, to know that you're Rick Darris and then the cop, and then you're in, Chasing Amy, and, you show up in different spots, and it's like, oh, well, there's the guy that was Rick Darris. I think that's really cool that he does that and not kind of gets all big headed and go, "Sorry, we're not doing indie films no more. I'm working with Bruce Willis."
No. And he does things that I don't even know about. He sprinkles me throughout films, comics, things like that, and I have no clue.
Right.
Until the fans, if I'm at a convention or something, a fan will bring something to me and be like, "Oh, can you sign this? This is from," I was like, "What is this?" I had no clue I was in this. And he goes, "Oh yeah, your name is mentioned, Rick Darris, blah blah blah." And even in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, I had no clue. I was there for a couple days in New Orleans and doing my thing, that cameo we did for the Clerks panel, and a fan messaged me a photo of a life-size comic book about 8 feet tall that was at the convention, the show where they had the convention,
right.
Of a Rick Darris comic book. like he's breaking.
Wow.
It's Rick Derris, like it's me. It's actually
Sure.
it looks just like me in the sweatbox sweatshirt, breaking Blunt Man over my knee, and it was the coolest thing ever. And I called Kev up and I said, "Dude, you got to get me that." I said, "That thing's awesome. I'll put that in my house."
Is there a real Rick Derris at all? Because I've noticed that he's referenced, like in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, for instance, and you got to look quick. If you don't notice this, you won't notice this. But the bus line,
yes,
that
Derris,
when they get kicked off is Derris.
Yes.
So I wondered. I've always wondered, like, you know, in Adam Sandler movies, they always reference the O'Doyles at some point. So
Right.
I'm always wondering if there's some sort of family that pissed off Sandler, and that's his, you know, revenge. Is like, now I have the power, and I'm going to just give you the FU 24/7 in every movie I can to make you look like a bunch of dicks. So
Yeah.
I've just always wondered: is Rick Derris somebody that he knows, that he likes? Is he some Jersey legend? Is there a real Rick Derris?
I've always taken it like this. As far as I know, knowing him as long as I know him and growing up with him and, you know, having our shenanigans, what we used to do, I know of no Rick Derris. I can say that Rick Derris is very similar to myself somewhat in my youth.
Okay.
You know, so, but I won't say that I'm 100% Rick Derris, like he got Rick Derris from me, but I will say I know that a lot of Rick Derris is in his brain because of me.
Okay. I've always wondered because I've seen, like I said, when I saw that pop up in Strikes Back, I was like, Rick Derris rears his head again.
Yeah.
Who is Rick Derris? I need to know if Rick Derris is a real individual.
It's an embellishment on you, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, because I was the first one, you know, to have the car. I was the first one to have the ladies. I was the first one to get laid. I was I always had a girlfriend, and, you know, so it was kind of like that kind of thing. But, you know, I also had the gym, the Sweatbox. That's a real gym.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was my garage, as a lot of people know.
You know, I've wondered if, like, when he cast you as other characters in the View Askew-universe, like he's done with Brian O'Halloran, where his last name is always Hicks.
It's always Hicks, yeah.
So it was like was you Officer Derris? And stuff like that. And that's when you were the reporter in Dogma, although you got cut, but was your last name Derris?
Yeah, that would be funny, but I that's a great way to look at it. But I think he used the Hicks thing, so he didn't want to overuse it.
Saturate, right?
Yeah, he didn't want to saturate it. But the Hicks thing is brilliant. I love what he does with O'Halloran and those and how he used him in Reboot. I thought was awesome.
Yeah, 3 times. You know, he had him as Dante. He had him. He was all
the characters.
He was Dante. He was Dante in the real world. He was Dante on the panel. And then he was
he was Brian. He was the real Brian O'Halloran in the panel.
That's right, Brian in the panel.
Yeah,
and then he was the reporter. Gil Hicks come back, and when he was with Boo Boo Kitty Fuck, and so I've met Brian too. That guy's hilarious, man. He's such a nice guy. I've met him and Marilyn. They're so sweet.
Yeah, I'm working on a project right now with Brian. With myself, I'm producing and co-starring in a sitcom that my buddy Troy Burbank is doing called On Your Own, and I got Brian O'Halloran involved.
Nice.
He's playing a great character that we kind of wrote and molded to him specifically, because he does. I see Brian quite often, and we play cards a lot together. So we're very friendly, and he always kind of he likes to favor himself as a comedian, which he's very funny in a lot of things. And he does accents and things like that. So it kind of stuck in my brain, and I molded a character based on some of the things that he did. And he's just going to knock it out of the park. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool.
That sounds great. So y'all are in pre-production, or where are you at with the whole thing right now?
Well, we're in pre-production right now. We got the cast. We did somewhat of a table read already. Everything's ready to go. I'm working out the paperwork at the moment with the unions. It's the whole COVID-19 thing.
Right.
It's tough,
Right.
especially for us independent kind of guys trying to make something with not a lot of money.
Right.
You know, and there's
Right.
all these requirements. I got a meeting with 4 people from SAG, 3, I think 2 or 3 from the West Coast, 1 from the East Coast, on Monday about what we have to do in order to make sure everything's right. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Oh yeah, I read the Georgia regulations when they came out about 3 weeks ago, and they were pretty tight on some of the stuff. And from what I hear out there from buddies of mine that are in, they're like, I don't know what we're going to do. It's going to be very tough through this. And some of them are like, I don't even know if I want to go back right now.
Right. I mean, I personally think that like the smaller budgeted productions, low budget, ultra low budget, I would hope after this meeting I have on Monday, I hope that the requirements aren't as strict as the big productions, as like a Netflix show or a feature film by Paramount or Universal. I mean, those big productions have hundreds of people, a lot of moving parts. I get it. I mean, where on the small level of the independent industry, that's different. There's only a few people. I mean, there's not a lot because we don't have the money to pay that kind of stuff. So to ask them to pay all this extra money for all these requirements for the COVID is kind of going to be really tough. I'm hoping there's some sort of compromise in there. It would be nice.
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome, especially like you said, low budget, smaller cast, smaller everything on the books. But I mean, where are you at right now? Are you in LA? Are you in New Jersey? Where are you at?
No, I'm a Jersey boy. Yeah, I don't.
Middletown.
Yeah, I stay in Middletown, New Jersey. Grew up in Highlands. Stay in Middletown because I couldn't afford to live by the water no more. So I moved inland a little bit, a couple miles. But
you're still close.
Oh yeah, I'm close. I'm 5 minutes from the stash, 5 minutes from the quick stop. So everything's right where I want it to be. New York, I'm in the city 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
And that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about is, speaking of the quick stop, is you're building the Smod Castle.
Yes, I am.
And that is very impressive. I know, because I'm a big fan, but I follow a lot of the message boards. I'm sure you do as well. But people in the, in the fan world are just amazed that this is really coming to fruition. That there's going to be a Smod Castle next to the quick stop.
So yeah.
What's going to be the functionality and the purpose of Smod Castle once it is open to the business?
So I've partnered up with myself, Kevin, and another partner, Raj, which he announced. Raj Topper is his parents own the Quick Stop building.
Okay.
So Kevin announced that without surprisingly, he announced that at the Asbury Park premiere of the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which I didn't know he was going to do.
Wow.
But he announced it, so that's kind of public knowledge. I'm pretty much building the Smod Castle. I'm taking that end unit, which is about 1,400 square feet, and turning it into the Smod Castle. So what I've been doing is, over the past few months, I've been slowly, refurbishing it because it hasn't been vacant in a long time. So redoing the walls, the floors. We're trying not to spend too much money. We kind of want to give it that black box feeling.
Yep.
I built a small stage. I built a small VIP room in the back, and obviously, originally we were hoping to be open already.
Yeah, 420, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it just, as of now, we really don't know when we're going to be open. I mean, Jersey's tough. So
I work in theater. I know. I'm out of work too. I've been
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all in an entertainment kind of background, and this is what I've been doing. Stuff like these podcasts, and me and him do a radio show. things like that. Other than that, yard work, building a fire pit and an outdoor theater, and that's what I've been doing. But yeah, I mean, we're in the same boat, so it's moving very, very slowly. I
it is moving
completely.
slow, but I'm still moving forward on getting things ready there. I'm actually, people have probably noticed the videos I've been putting up.
Yep, I've watched them. They're great.
Every 3 to 4 weeks I'll put one up, and I kind of been slowing them up because it's taken longer. And the videos you see were done a while ago.
Sure.
Like I got 2 more. I got one coming out this weekend, which was recorded almost a month ago.
Oh, really?
And, yeah. I mean, it's just because I work, my full job, and then I'll go to the Smod Castle at night or on weekends and do what I can do over there, and then shoot a little video and stuff here and there. But yeah, I mean, we're looking. I mean, I'd love to be open at the end of July. I mean, I would.
Well,
love it.
What's great about you putting the videos out and already having them shot is it's not. It looks like it's coming along in that amount of time on the internet, where people are not like driving past going, "When's this place open? This place looks really kind of close to on these videos." So if you kind of dole them out, people are not, making plane arrangements and hotel arrangements to get to the Smod Castle immediately. So
people have been messaging me and sending me messages about, when should I book a flight? When should I do this? I say, listen, I can't give you an answer.
Right.
Because, we're kind of held like everybody else to what the state requirements are. So we got to figure out, once we know, trust me, Kev's going to go full blast on social media. You know how he does.
Of course.
And we'll sell out quick that opening weekend. But we want to be able to pack the place. I mean, we don't want to be able to have, 20 people in there when we can hold 70.
How many do you think that it will hold, say, pre, COVID-19? Like if you was making those plans, what do you think the, maximum occupancy would be?
Yeah, it's a small venue, obviously, like I said.
Right.
Which is
intimate. It was the video store, right?
No.
Oh,
RST is that guy. There's a guy there trying to reopen that as the video store right now.
Okay.
But that hasn't moved forward. It's kind of been stagnant. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I wish him all the best of luck. But he redid the place inside, got it all ready, but then it's kind of been sitting there. So I don't know what he's doing with it. But
is he calling it RST?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we're on the end unit.
Yeah, okay.
So we're the bookends. The Smod Castle's at one end, the Quick Stop's at the other end. And it's pretty cool, but I mean, we're hoping that, like I said, end of July would be great. I mean, maybe it's going to be August. We will have a website up. We'll have calendars up. We'll have all that information going once we know what we can do as far as a time frame. Because it's silly to put anything out now because we don't know.
Right. Nobody knows. It's a waste of put up and take down, put up, take down.
Right. It's a waste. And I understand how people are, kind of antsy and want to go there. But, I don't want to give false information. I mean, we started out saying, oh, we're going to open this date. We're going to open that date. And then all of a sudden it was like, beep, we had to squash it.
That's kind of, I mean, with the whole shutdown and lockdown and, it doesn't really fall into your, lap to make it look like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're not getting, it's like we can only do with what we're allowed to do. And once we're allowed to do more, you'll be allowed to do more.
Right.
So it's not on you.
Right. And what people don't, a lot they don't realize is a simple thing as, since the building's been vacant for over a year, what happens is the electric gets shut off, the gas meters get disconnected. So now we have to restore all the power, which we've done that already. The gas has been a nightmare, getting the gas turned back to the building. We have new meters, all these inspections, get the plumbers come in. I mean, there's and the COVID thing is just killing it because it's not essential.
Right.
Exactly.
So we're like at the way back of the list. So
you're a glorified permanent set.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting for the gas to get turned on so I can see if the AC works.
Right.
So it's like we're going to do our best, but I mean, ultimately it's going to be great. And Kev's going to knock it out of the park every time he comes there. And we're going to do, the live podcast, the live stage readings like we did at the Playhouse to raise that money.
Will you have like an open mic comedy night or anything?
We're gonna do everything. We're gonna do definitely a comedy night because a lot of his fans are comics, and we have a great friend, Chris Covert, who's a local comedian who knows a lot of really big name comics. So we're gonna tie that all in. I'd love to do like art gallery stuff because his fans are some great artists out there. So I'd love to represent their work in there on some level. Maybe give them all like a day, or maybe we do contests, things like that. We want to have weddings in there because Kevin's ordained, Brian's ordained, some of the comic book men are ordained. We want to do that. We're going to do a gaming with Jay Muse. We're going to do a gaming. I don't know if I want to call it a tournament, but I'm not big on the gaming industry.
But like on his Twitch thing that he's doing. Yeah,
he's involved in a lot of the gaming stuff. And what I suggested after talking to Ming Chen a little bit about it, to have Jay Muse come in and he would host a gaming night. So where the gamers, I think something happens where they play these games or tournaments and they get points.
Yep.
Go to different levels so they can go to these things. Yep. And we want our Smodcastle to be one of those spots they come to play with Jay Muse and him to host it. So it's a whole different thing. Anything like that. I mean, where else Kevin wants to have Saturday morning cartoon and cereal?
I'm there, man.
I mean,
I'm going to the movies pop-up in July out in West Hollywood to experience that. Yeah. And that's what I was, the friend that I'm going with, me and her do a Jay and Silent Bob cosplay.
I saw you guys. Very good.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Yep.
And, of course, we're going to get a lot of pictures as Jay and Silent Bob, out in California. But that was our next thing, was like, well, we'll go to the Smodcastle after this. And so it's kind of like, I'm glad it's not happening right now because it's like I can save a little bit more money to after I make my way up to Jersey.
I think everybody's going to have to save some money after being out of work. I mean,
yes.
It's tough. But we're gonna work it out, man. We want the fans to be involved in this thing. We're gonna do. We haven't announced how we're gonna do it yet, but the whole side of the Quick Stop is a concrete wall. It's all blank. I mean, we're gonna do something with. We haven't decided how, but artists are gonna come and do murals. Of Clerks, any kind of View Askew characters on the whole side of the building. That's the plan as of right now.
There needs to be an 8-foot size Rick Darris.
there needs to be a sweatbox sign out there with me doing a big old pose or something like that.
No doubt, man. I am supposed to be here today.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's gonna be good, man. We want to make it as fun as possible for the fans, and of course, affordable. I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, we have to make money, or else we can't keep the place open.
Right. Yep. That's what I tell people. It's show business, but people forget the business part of the show. So
yes, and there's a lot of moving parts for the business end.
Exactly. So anytime people are like, I don't know, it's like it's not like a magic wish list that people just wave a wand and magic things happen. There's money that comes out of pocket, and it costs a lot to make believe and to make things happen. So it's like, it's always, but to me, it seems like when projects like this, what you're doing with Smodcastle and just your involvement with the whole View Askew universe throughout the years and being known as the Rick Darris character, that kind of work that goes into it seems far more genuine from the people who are putting it out, and the fans I think appreciate that even more because it doesn't seem like it's just being mass produced, and there is thought put into it. Like I say, even silly thought. I'm pointing out the bus name, so they pay attention. So it's like I don't think they get too frustrated when it's not happening in a rapid success. I think when it's the work's put into it that's deserving, it makes it all the worthwhile. It makes it worth it to wait on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're not trying to throw this thing together. I mean, this has been something we've talked about for a while, and I had hoped that it would have been done a lot sooner. But the timing is right, and Kevin's at a moment where he wants to do this. He wants to have a place to hang out.
Well, I've also noticed that it seems like since the heart attack, in Reboot, which I thought Reboot was fantastic. I loved it. It was everything I was hoping it would be. You saw such growth with characters and with him and Jay themselves, but other people as well. And I like that. He of course brought it into that world where it wasn't just sort of a rehash of what we had already seen. It was more embellished, and he's kind of wanted to go back, with the Twilight of the Mallrats and Clerks 3, and doing Moose Jaws and trying to do things that he was doing to begin with. And I've never been one of these people like, why is he doing Tusk? Why is he doing Red State? I did say, why did he do Yoga Hosers? But yeah, but I like the fact as an artist. I like the fact as an artist that he does what he wants and he's happy with what he's doing, and he and that's the key. That's the key, is working from your heart and doing what you really love.
Yeah, you got to do what you like, man. I mean, that's all that matters.
And Kevin's like Star Wars now. You can't do something without your fan base is so big and they all have opinions. So it's like, I don't like Reboot. I love Reboot. They should have did this in Reboot. They should have did this in Same with Star Wars. Why is there BB-8? Why is there Jar Jar Binks? Why, they should have done this. Lando should have been there sooner.
It's in that cult thing where it becomes an obsession for the fans. If that makes sense.
Right.
It becomes
and that's what I think is really cool about Kevin, in the sense that he still writes like he's written before. He hasn't really changed his momentum in that, when he gets to the View Askew universe. It still seems like he can kind of dip right back in and use the people, and it still sticks. It's still really good. And then when he wants to venture out into stuff like Red State and Tusk and Yoga Hosers and Cop Out, I think that's nothing wrong with that. I think that's fine.
No, you got,
as an artist,
you got to let the man stretch a little bit.
Even he said, yeah, because
throw things against the wall to see what sticks every now and then.
Yeah,
well, because
why not?
If he keeps doing the same thing, people will say all he does is the same thing. He does something different. He should go back to doing the same thing. So as an artist, you just have to be creative and say, this is what I'm feeling right now. This is what's going to happen. Don't like it? We'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, all the things that he does, I mean, he's involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, there's the movies, but then there's a whole other different level of things that he's involved in.
Well, he's got the weed thing now. He's got the comic book stuff. He's got, more. I mean, it blows my mind every time I sit down and he talks to like Joe Rogan and somebody, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing this, and it's like the top of what he's doing. It's like the top.
And that's just what he's telling you.
Exactly.
When I talk to him and he tells me, I'm working on this, and that, I'm like, what? You're doing what? With who? And he goes, yeah, we're doing. He goes, we don't know what's gonna. And a lot of that stuff, which usually have in Hollywood, it falls apart sometimes, and that's just the way it goes. But some of the things that he's told me he's been involved in, I've been like, holy crap, dude. I mean, that's just. So he's got a lot of plates spinning all the time, So
Lee Wesley says, I love Mr. Tusk.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, you can comment and ask us questions and Ernie questions or comment whatever you want to, and we'll throw them up there if you want. Sorry, I don't think I did that at the beginning because I was chasing.
I want to jump off the Jersey thing, the View Askew Universe Kevin thing for a minute, and I want to talk about 100 Acres of Hell.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen this yet, but
come on now.
I'm a fan. Hey, I know I have no excuse, but
you got $4.99, don't you?
I do have $4.99. I tell you what, Ernie, tonight I will be watching
$4.99. You can get it.
I'm gonna do it. But I'm a big horror fan, and just the title alone, I was already captured. I was like, that's a lot of acreage to be trying to get out of. So what do we have going on in 100 Acres of Hell?
Yeah, 100 Acres of Hell was a lot of fun, but a lot of headaches. I mean,
really?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the independent world, and my buddy Jason Kerner and Ed McKeever, and along with Gene Snitsky, they took on a task that I think was bigger than, they expected. They wanted to do a full-blown feature, next level than what they were used to doing. Because they did some really low budget. I mean, listen, they weren't the greatest horror movies that they did prior, but I give them A for effort, man, because you go out there and make something. I give you all the credit in the world. So they wanted to step it up. And that's, they reached out to me to play a character. And I was like, okay, I'm all about it, And then as things progressed, they started tapping me for my knowledge, which I didn't realize I had. But I kind of absorbed a lot from being around Kevin and being around a lot of sets. So they tapped me to be a producer also. So I co-starred and produced in 100 Acres of Hell. But the star of the movie is Gene Snitsky, former WWE superstar.
Okay.
And we also got the great Samu, Hall of Famer from the Head Shrinkers of the WWE. He plays our main killer. We got Eileen Dietz from The Exorcist.
Nice.
He's also in it in the beginning. I mean, we got a really, well-rounded cast of talented. I reached into my pool of actors locally to bring them in. And the script was really, really cool. It's a real throwback, as we've said to a lot of the fans who watch it, to like that old 80s type slasher type of thing. We wanted to, Jason and Ed wanted to create like a Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers type of character with Jeb Tucker. And they did. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of money, so we begged, borrowed, steal, called in as many favors as we could. We got Big Gene called in a favor to get us a helicopter in a scene.
Nice.
Which was would cost. I budgeted it out. It was like $5-6 grand to get the helicopter, and we got it for next to nothing because he knew the guy. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yep.
Well, it's like, I like Adam Green as a director, but he doesn't have, he's one of these horror directors that sometimes don't have the budget, but he still makes quality stuff like Hatchet. One of my favorite movies that he's ever done. I always felt bad for him because of the title, but the movie's fantastic. Was Frozen.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen
and
it.
That's it. Yeah, it's a great movie, great concept, but you're thinking of Elsa and Olaf as soon as you're like Frozen. It's like,
I know.
There's no Olaf, and Olaf would have been a big help here, but I'm telling you, there's no Olaf or Elsa or anything like that. This is just, it's got Kane Hodder, which I love to death.
Yeah, Kane's cool.
He's a great dude. And I love his one scene in it though. He's the guy that could save them all, and he's in the snowplow, and he even hears something drops, and it's like, nah, I'm going back. It's too cold for this shit. And
yeah. I mean, we planned on.
Kane's a killer when he doesn't even want to be a killer.
That's right.
He's like, screw it, I'm out, dude.
Yeah, he's an intimidating guy.
He is, but he's a nice. I've met Kane many times, and it's funny because if you just walked past him and did not know who he was, yes, you're right, very intimidating individual. But if you get to know him, he is he's just a sweetheart of a person. He's just a nice man,
I did a couple conventions with him.
Sid Haig, rest in peace. I met Sid many times, and he was one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Oh, was he? I never met him.
Oh, dude, one of my favorite movies Sid Haig did it's his first one. It's called Spider Baby. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this.
No, I've never seen that.
It's got I'm going to draw a blank on who's in it, but I looked it up because White Zombie on their first album had a song called Spider Baby. And then years later, he cast Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding, and I started putting the two together, and I was like, oh, shit. I love this movie. It's really ahead of its time for a horror movie back in like 63, 4.
I got to look that up.
It's really good, but I talked to Sid about it, and I was like, dude, every Halloween I watch Spider Baby. He goes, you watch that old piece of shit? And I was like, dude, that movie's great, dude. He goes, all right. I was like, I said, come on, Sid. If it wasn't for that movie, you wouldn't be where you are today. He goes, True that, but you don't need
Yeah.
to be watching that piece of shit. But it's a great movie, though. I mean, it's not Citizen Kane, but it's still for the movie that come. It's like Cape Fear. Have you ever seen the original Cape Fear?
Oh yeah.
It's amazing for that
Yep.
time. That was that suspenseful. Spider Baby's that way. It's just real creepy and weird. And Sid has a very Sid kind of part in it. But you know, I love horror. So when I saw 100 Acres of Hell, I really was like, I got to check this out because I watch everything on Netflix and stuff.
Right.
I watch shit that's just. I always say Netflix is guilty of this. They have great cover like posters.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh man, I got to see this.
I'm just like you. I watch it and I'm like, what am I doing? This is such a waste.
I was like, they spent all their budget on that fucking poster, man.
I know.
You know, so it was like, damn, man.
Speaking of budget, you know, speaking of budget, Ernie, you said 100 Acres of Hell is a small movie, small budget. What was the budget on that? Because you say small, people don't understand what small is. It $1 million, $2 million, less than? I mean, what was that for you? Because you brought up $5,000 for the helicopter. Obviously, that was a lot for the boat.
Well, like I said, we budgeted. We figured it was going to cost us $5,000 until we got it for nothing. That's what I'm saying. We got a lot of stuff by calling in favors through friends and family and getting locations for nothing, and the crew working for next to nothing. I mean, the movie looks.
It's based upon the trailer. It does not look what it doesn't look like Clerks, like out of the back of one cat at all. It looks like there's some money spent on it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it could be close to $1 million budget. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
but we didn't spend over 70.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a SAG project, and we had. I mean, listen. All of us would have liked to have spent a little bit more money on like special effects, meaning like a little bit more gore, a little bit more blood, splat, things like that. But we just couldn't afford it. I mean, it was just a lot.
Have you ever saw the movie?
Say again?
But at least you didn't cheap out and try to do it cheap, and it came off in a cheap way. Because sometimes.
Now there is one scene where we wanted some blood and we really couldn't do it, and in post we added a little bit of digital blood like they do in Walking Dead, the show, and obviously it's noticeable because everything else that's done is legit, but it works. I mean, it's got that 80s horror feel to it.
Yeah.
The music's awesome. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Dead Alive? It was Peter Jackson's first movie that he ever done.
Yeah.
They had a surplus of blood in that movie. Like, we've got to use all this. We have so much of it. We can't waste it. I remember watching that the first time, and I was like, dude, I've never seen it was like they bought 10 truckloads of stage blood, and it's like, we got to use this. We have to use it to the nth degree. That movie's great, but it's like a real life Itchy and Scratchy cartoon.
Right.
A lot of cartoon violence and a lot of blood, but I had a blast doing this movie. I really did. I mean, we shot at night. It was freezing. We shot in the mountains of Pennsylvania, the woods of, South Jersey. I mean, we were all over the place. It was a lot of hard work and effort by everybody, and it paid off. And I just, it hasn't even been out for a year yet, and it's starting to go over international, overseas now, and it's on like 20 different streaming platforms. I mean, it's all over the place. Well, when things start opening up, like some of the cons, will it be, will it do the tour of cons and kind of go like to Mad Monster and whatever they have to try to, to promote it as well, like some of these indie filmmakers do as well? Yeah,
we just got approached by a con to bring our movie there and show it. So we're kind of talking to somebody right now about that. We were going to go to Monster Mania. We are going to New Jersey Horror Con. We're going to in September if everything still stays on schedule.
Right.
To promote that there again. But I mean, we just keep pushing it as much as we can. I mean, we just want people. I mean, now that people are home, I mean, if they just go to their local cable sites, streaming sites, it's on almost everything with the exception of Netflix. It ain't on Netflix because if you go to Netflix, you're limited to just Netflix because usually it's a deal. Right. You have to stay with them. You can. Where if you stay away from Netflix, I mean, I love Netflix, but for somebody in the independent world like us, we want to be everywhere. I mean, we're on iTunes, we're on Google, we're on Amazon, we're on DirecTV, Verizon, Sony, you name it, we're all over the place. So it's easy to get.
A guy that does a film festival at our theater that I work at in Marietta, he said sort of the same thing. He says you can do, he's done a lot of indie horror films as well. He goes, you can do more platforms and stay away from Netflix because and make more money off of other streaming platforms as you would. He goes, they'll only offer you X amount of dollars, and he goes, there's more option out there. He goes, so I'm not. He goes, unless it was something that was I couldn't turn down, I'm staying away. I want to go on these other streaming platforms because more people will see them that way. So
most definitely,
it's not. Yeah, it's obviously a universal thought in indie film as far as when that comes out that. Here you are making films up there and he's making films down here, and it's still the same mentality, obviously. So
it is definitely, but like you said, if the deal is good enough through Netflix, you're going to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to change it a little bit. They got to bump it up.
Dave Chappelle's not going to go, I'm hitting other streaming platforms. The hell with Netflix.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They're like, we can't offer you enough. You got to take it up with Chappelle. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Chappelle's worth it. I mean,
you're damn right he is.
Yeah.
Damn right he is.
He's a funny motherfucker. I'll tell you that.
Damn right, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's our show here, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, Ernie. Don't want to, take any more of your Friday evening. I appreciate you.
Nah, we're good. We're good, man. I love it. I mean, anything to promote and talk to fans and hang out with you guys. I mean, listen, you guys are the bread and butter of our industry, so.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh, yeah, huge fans. I'm all the way back from Clerks now. I can't wait till y'all get it open, the Smod Castle.
Yeah.
I'm definitely coming up and hanging out. If not with Rick, I'm coming by myself.
Man.
Don't worry. You didn't got to, twist my arm. I'll go with you. We could do a show up there.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Come up there, do a podcast.
Show. Yeah, absolutely. So
in the books, write it down. We're coming to do We're coming to do a show there. I got friends in Jersey. I can stay for free in Jersey.
I mean, that's really kind of what we want. I mean, a lot of his fans have podcasts and shows and do all these things, and I mean, come there and do it at the Mecca, at ground zero of the View Askew universe, where the Quick Stop building is.
Definitely take you up on that. I'm excited. It'll be great.
It's going to be fun.
We're coming up there to see the Stash and see the Quick Stop and Smod Castle when it all opens and hang out in Jersey. And
nice.
I'm going to see if my girlfriend will get picked up by Rick Darris. So it's going to be the whole experience, man. I'm telling you.
I pick her up, I might throw her on a pool table. You know what I'm
saying? Hey, dressed like Smokey and the Bandit. Did you fuck Rick Darris? Wasn't that when you and Rick Darris was dressed like Smokey and the Bandit? Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, man. Well, man, we really appreciate it, Ernie. Thank you so much for coming on the Fat Thor Lockdown podcast roundtable and talking all things, from 100 Acre of Hell to, working with George Carlin and Kevin and the Smod Castle. Having to deal with Andy's tornado chasing at the beginning of the Wi-Fi tornadoes. So,
hey, man, it's good to be that way. You want to have things, a little flavor going on,
Keeping it real, man. Keep it
real.
So, that's right.
Wi-Fi is like a tornado. I never thought.
It's all good, brother. It's all good.
Whatever it takes to get the show going. Hey, Ernie, where can people follow you at that aren't following you now, that aren't fans? Where can they follow you? Floor yours.
Yeah, so for now, I'm on Facebook as Ernie. Ernie. Look up Ernie O'Donnell. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter as E O'Donnell. I'm on Instagram as OD Blues. Also, soon I will be having the Smod Castle. The Smod Castle Facebook page and Twitter page is up, but it's not. We're not active right now. It is up. We've been getting followers every day. but we haven't posted anything there until we kind of get things rolling.
Right.
So we're there, and then obviously just check out my movie 100 Acres of Hell on all streaming sites. I also got my other movie I produced and do a cameo in called Gone for the Weekend. That's a raunchy comedy. That's on Amazon.
You're in a raunchy comedy? What?
Yeah. Yep. And then let's forget we got that movie with that I did with Kevin in Florida called Kilroy was here, which a lot of his fans know about.
I've been waiting to see when that's going to kind of pop up.
Yeah, I heard some rumblings from what Kev was telling me the end of the year. We're hoping Kilroy was here would come out, and then there's also Shooting Clerks. I mean, we're.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the Shooting Clerks. I've been following those guys. I think that's a fantastic idea, concept of the whole documentary kind of style movie of them, of you guys shooting clerks.
Yeah, those UK guys did a fabulous job. I
agree. I've seen clips. It's amazing. It's so amazing. I wait patiently for that.
So there's a lot of stuff we got working, a lot of things popping. I mean, I got other projects I can't talk about as of right now because I don't like to, get it.
He's working with Bruce Willis, y'all.
They're redoing Moonlighting.
Yeah. It's called Die Hard Moonlighting. Yeah, in Jersey.
That's right.
John McClane. It's coming back to Sybil Shepherd.
Rick Darris to do John McClane. I love it.
Yeah, Rick Darris versus John McClane.
That'd be great.
That's the move right there. I want to see that comic book right there.
Oh, yeah, right? That'd be awesome.
100%.
Darris hard. Darris hard.
That makes a lot of sense. Darris hard. That's great. You got to put that shit on a shirt.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Ernie. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
I want that shirt. That's going to be.
Yes.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, fellas.
We'll see you
Thanks
in Jersey.
a lot,
We're
man.
coming to do a show. We're coming to do a show, man.
We are.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll talk to you soon, Ernie. Thank you so much
Peace
for being
out.
on Fat Thor Lockdown. All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. I'll see you.
See you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right.
Appreciate it. I really do. That was a great show.
Now, you guys are